You're watching 13 News, Kansas News Leader.
Good afternoon and welcome to Midday in Kansas. I'm Erika Hall. We start with weather. Doug, what's the forecast looking like out there?
We're monitoring a cold front that's continued to push across the area, and that might spark off a few storms south and east of I-35. But I think for the most part, we are done with the rain as we are looking at mostly sunny skies. Taking a look outside, our Emporium camera sponsored by ValueNet as temperatures are continuing to climb, but not too bad, especially for August standards. We are mostly sunny on our Capital Federal Live Storm Tracker, showing those storms developing south and east of I-35 over the last hour or so as they push down to the east. So we're talking maybe Ottawa down towards Burlington, maybe as far northwest as Emporia, though that might be pushing it as far as the only slight chance for anyone to see any storms for the remainder of the day today. We'll continue to monitor it though. Otherwise, temperatures are the warmest in Emporia at 85, 81 in Topeka, and then behind the front you can see cooler temperatures in Concordia and Hiawatha, right now sitting at 74 degrees. We'll top out around 84 with a north wind about 5 to 10 miles per hour as temperatures will continue to drop overnight. We will have one of our coolest nights since June as lows drop into the 50s. We'll go for 57 in the capital city with a very fall-like day tomorrow, but rain does return for the weekend. The latest timing of that, and we'll take a look at the latest drought monitor coming up in a few minutes. Erika?
All right, thanks, Doug. The Topeka Police Department has identified 2 of 3 victims in an overnight shooting earlier this week. Investigators say they found 39-year-old Andrea Carter and 38-year-old Virgil Maupin, along with an unnamed teenager suffering from gunshot wounds when they responded to an East Topeka home. Officers responded around 1 a.m. Wednesday to the home in the 2900 block of Southeast Highland Court, where they found the 3 victims. They were taken to a local hospital and were reported to be in stable condition. Police have not yet released any information about a suspect. Anyone with information is asked to call Crime Stoppers at 234-0007. Former candidate for Topeka Mayor Chris Schultz says he received death threats during his campaign. In a Facebook post yesterday, Chris Schultz says he received death threats during his recent campaign for Topeka Mayor. Schultz, who is openly gay, said he chose to keep the death threats to himself, hoping they were a hoax, quote, meant to tear down my spirit. Schultz said the threats, quote, won't get rid of me that easily. While he expressed how running for office wasn't a cakewalk, however, Topeka police told us they haven't received any reports of threats against Schultz. Unofficial results from Tuesday's primary election show Schultz came in 3rd out of 5 candidates, falling 200 votes short of making the general election ballot. Shawnee County commissioners will consider changing the legal age of buying tobacco products in the county, but only outside of Topeka city limits. Commissioners heard a presentation on why the county should prohibit sales or furnishings of tobacco products to anyone under the age of 21. Craig Barnes with the Health Department says 3,800 Kansas adults die each year from smoking, and 54,000 kids now under the age of 18 will ultimately die prematurely from smoking. Barnes says increasing the age from 18 to 21 would help reduce that number, while Shawnee County resident and convenience store businessman Tom Pallas makes the argument, if you're 18, you are an adult.
At an 18-year-old today, he can buy a house, can sign a mortgage. 18-year-old can buy a car and be on a loan. The government's trying to protect us from ourselves. And I personally think that's wrong.
21 seems to be the most appropriate age to increase, to limit those youth who are getting access to cigarettes so they don't have to battle a lifelong addiction.
If approved, the resolution would affect 11 convenience stores. Commissioners are expected to make a decision at their meeting next Thursday. The city of Lawrence is welcoming a new police chief. The Lawrence Journal-World reports that Gregory Burns Jr. has been chosen to lead the city's police department. Burns has been in law enforcement since 1993 and most recently served as assistant police chief in Louisville, Kentucky. He's also a 4-year veteran of the U.S. Air Force. According to the Journal-World, Lawrence City Manager Tom Marcus said Burns stood out because of his, quote, his descriptions of how he connected with people in the community. Burns is Lawrence's first African-American police chief. Another Topeka road is shut down to traffic, this time for a gas line repair. The city says as of now, Southwest 2nd between Kansas and Jackson is closed to allow a gas line to be fixed. The road will be closed for 1 week and may have occasional closures after that to allow for leak testing and any pavement repairs needed. President Trump is blaming Congress for the United States' deteriorating relationship with Russia. The president's latest tweet comes a day after he reluctantly signed new economic sanctions against Russia. It also comes amid new developments in Congress's Russian investigations. Mola Lingyi has new details from the White House.
President Trump is putting the blame squarely on Congress for the current state of relations between the U.S. and Russia. The president tweeted, "Our relationship with Russia is at an all-time and very dangerous low. You can thank Congress." The tweet comes a day after the president signed new sanctions against Russia, even though he called the legislation seriously flawed because it limited his ability to negotiate.
The bill is passed.
A bipartisan Congress passed the bill last week in retaliation for Russia's meddling in the 2016 U.S. election. In a Facebook post, Russia's Prime Minister Dmitry Medvedev said the sanctions were tantamount to a full-scale trade war. CBS News has learned that congressional investigators looking into Russian meddling now want the phone and email records of everyone involved in a meeting between Donald Trump Jr. and a Russian lawyer at Trump Tower last year. Republican Senator James Risch, a supporter of the president, says emails released by Trump Jr. are not enough.
I guarantee you there were phone calls in addition to those emails, and I want to hear all of it.
President Trump's lawyer originally denied the president helped his son put out a misleading statement about the meeting, but earlier this week, the White House admitted the president weighed in.
Special counsel Robert Mueller is also expanding his team of prosecutors. His latest hire is said to be an expert on foreign bribery. A former Lawrence mayor is awaiting his sentencing for stealing money from a food pantry. That's one story that's trending right now on the WIBW News app. Also online, the NAACP has issued a travel advisory warning about Missouri. Find out why. Plus, there's 17 days until the solar eclipse. Keep track with our eclipse countdown. You can find those stories on the WIBW News app, free to download on your iPad, iPhone, Android devices, and Kindle Fire. Doug?
And rain last night into this morning at 0.4 inches in Manhattan, 0.43 in Concordia. Only a trace of rain in Topeka. We're still looking at similar dry conditions compared to last week, as we do have abnormally dry conditions for most of, or half of the state, I should say, and a little bit of moderate drought in our northwestern communities. But we do have some more rain on the way this weekend. The latest on that after the break.
This segment brought to you by Midland Care.
I was on my way to work and boom, I got rear-ended.
Just like that, I can get your life back on track.
I called Mike and boom, he got me $160,000.
Just call me. I've got this.
Call 785-444-4444.
Are missing teeth leaving you with a permanent frown? Remember the days when you could eat corn on the cob or enjoy a steak? Well, now you can with many dental implants. These amazing, tiny, state-of-the-art implants are great for replacing missing teeth and stabilizing loose-fitting dentures. They're also an alternative to expensive and time-consuming standard dental implant treatments. We use microsurgery, a minimally invasive one-step procedure, so there's no cutting, no stitches, no bone grafting. Yeah, and you can use them right away, and they're typically only half the cost of regular implants. With many dental implants, it's easy to replace missing teeth or keep your dentures in place without messy, irritating adhesives. Think about it. You'll be able to eat what you want, when you want it, without fuss or embarrassment. Hey, you'll enjoy life more, attend more picnics, smile again, with the affordability and convenience of many dental implants. A new smile is just a phone call away.
I just love going to the downtown farmers market in Topeka. I love the wide variety of products and the friendly atmosphere. The downtown Topeka farmers market.
This is your 13 weather forecast with Doug Myers.
We are seeing a few clouds this afternoon, but it's still all in all mostly sunny. 81 degrees from our Capitol Federal Sky Cam. Northwest wind at 9 miles per hour. A little bit warmer down to the south at 85 in Emporia, 78 in Manhattan, and 74 in Hiawatha and Concordia. As that cold front that pushed through is continuing to usher in a little bit cooler air, and eventually it will bring us a lot less humidity as we head into tonight. Winds out of the northwest about 5 to 15 miles per hour, and again that is helping to usher in a little bit drier air with dew points around 60 in Concordia. Concordia and Hiawatha, still holding on to 68. So it does feel a little bit muggy in Topeka still, but that is about to change heading into tonight. In fact, the dew points are going to continue to drop overnight after highs, or temperatures, I should say, generally in the upper 70s to mid 80s across northeast Kansas by this afternoon. And with the humidity continue to drop overnight, that'll allow temperatures to get in the 50s for the first time for many since June. In fact, low 50s along the Nebraska-Kansas border and most spots in the mid 50s across the area. So a very comfortable start early tomorrow morning. You may even be able to open up those windows as well. And you might even need to keep them open tomorrow because we'll generally be in the 70s for the day. In fact, our temperatures in the low 80s, mainly north or southwest of Manhattan. You can see those low 80s. Otherwise, everyone else right around 78 or 79. So a beautiful day tomorrow with plenty of sunshine. The rain that we had from last night continues to push across to the east. Now, we can't completely rule out a few isolated showers and thunderstorms south and east of I-35, but I think it'll be far enough away from our viewing area or where the bulk of the rain will be, but can completely rule out a pop-up storm in the extreme southeastern portions of our viewing area. We're talking Burlington, maybe Osage City and Emporia, Ottawa, and Garnett. Those are just outside of our viewing area, but that's about where the places that will be to see storms for today. Fast forwarding to Saturday morning, this is 5 o'clock. We'll have showers and thunderstorms moving across the area over the course of the day on Saturday. Now, while we may get some breaks from time to time on Saturday, I really think the majority of the day does look to be a washout for the first part of the weekend. That continues into Saturday night. Sunday will continue with a chance of storms, but may have a little bit more breaks in between the rain showers heading into the second half of the weekend. So right now, I'm leaning more towards Saturday, where you really want to have a plan B. Unfortunately, that's not good news for those that want to do those Saturday night plans or national night outs, because we are going to be looking at more widespread rain during those time frames. Now, we might get a little bit of a break in some places, but this is what's expected through Sunday morning, and you can probably add anywhere between a tenth and a quarter inch of that rain over the course of the day on Sunday. So we're looking at a pretty good chance of rain over the course of the weekend. Pretty likely many spots will be about 1 to 2 inches of rain when it's all said and done. 84 this afternoon, can completely rule out a pop-up storm south and east of I-35. 57 tonight, a refreshing night, feeling like fall, and that continues tomorrow with a high of 79. We'll keep temperatures in the 70s on Saturday due to the rain keeping temperatures cool, but getting back up in the low 80s on Sunday. And I think for most of the next week we'll be dry and unseasonably cool in the 80s with storms towards the end of the week.
Doug, I'm so glad to hear it. It's hot out there reporting. I'm ready for that release.
It is. Yeah, nice day tomorrow. Nice day to play hooky from work.
Yes, great.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much for that, Doug. Coming up on Midday in Kansas, we'll check with farm news and markets, plus this.
Positive job market news for America and a contest where you can see an eclipse above the clouds. I'm Roxana Severi at the New York Stock Exchange. I'll have those stories and more coming up in your CBS Money Watch report.